Great.
Right. I think it's recording now. All right. I think it's been like a while since we've. That's the summer. Like I guess everybody's doing shit, but it's been a while since we had had this. So there's some stuff to talk about. I mean, the summer wasn't as light as I thought it would be. So one thing that we could talk about is so I didn't know, John, when you wrote that article that there was already an article about it. I guess I don't know who wrote. I guess there was a post on sort of the Republican page or the sort of Republican. So I mean, there's like two groups of Republicans. So the town Republicans, I guess we'll call them that, or the Republicans in power for now. I mean, they're pretty much. But on that page, they were talking about ADUs. And I didn't actually, until reading your article, I didn't know much about that. Like, I didn't even know there was a rule against that. I never even thought about it as an affordable housing option. Do you want to get into that a little bit and get into the letter?
Yeah. So I wrote an article. You posted it on July 20th on our website, and it was about what ADUs are. And they're additional.
Sounds like an STD or something, man.
Do I sound like I have an STD?
No, like ADU sounds like a.
Oh, it's an. Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a very special kind of STD.
ADU.
Additional dwelling units are a mother-daughter suite, loft above the garage, and they're presently illegal in Berkeley Heights. ADU language actually exists only in two towns, I think Madison, and there's one other town. So the genesis of my article was because I think a week prior to that, somebody sent me a screenshot of the Republicans page, Berkeley Heights Republicans, and they mentioned accessory dwelling units or something to that effect. So I thought I would actually write on it, and I wanted to be as factual as possible. And I didn't really get into all this information, which I actually think I'm going to write a second article about it. But additional dwelling units are very interesting left-right conversation, because to me, and this is what I didn't touch on yet, I think I'm going to drive into this in the next article I write. To me, additional dwelling units speaks directly to land rights. It's a very conservative thing you should support because it allows the homeowner to do whatever the hell they want with their property. Now, Republicans are running with a different narrative, and I think this is what they were trying to say, because they said in their posts that Susan Pogue in the subcommittee that ran the master plan, which is not binding, it's just a direction. So if you put language in the master plan for additional dwelling units, it's like, hey, the town this is their vision to look at it, and one day they can create an ordinance to legalize it or whatever you want to do. They implied that Susan Pogue, a Democrat, was slamming it through. So they went after Susan, who was, I think, counsel back then, and a subcommittee volunteer, which I was as well. So they did that, and they said, well, praise Jean Kingsley because she stopped it. Now, this didn't make sense to me because I thought that would have been a Republican stronghold. But from what I understand is the narrative goes like this, that if you allow units on your single family property, it'll bring renters in there, and then you'll start getting a different characteristic in town. That's what I said was, and this kind of developed in the comments of that article. It was kind of presumptuous, but I know people have said this, that they don't want that characteristic of Berkeley Heights to say, we're single family homes here, and that's it. They don't like affordable housing here. They don't want ADUs because it changes the characteristics of the town in the nicest words possible. So it was interesting to me because additional dwelling units, I started looking at language in other towns and seeing that it's actually illegal to rent them. You're not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be for family use only, or people you want living there, but you can't pay rent. So they actually designed ways to regulate this, which they don't mention. They just say that, well, ADUs, we don't want to be like Newark because Newark has ADUs, which actually they don't. They're trying to get them there too. And additionally, New Jersey actually has a bill on the table in review that would make ADUs permanent. Every town would have to develop their own ordinance to allow ADUs. So the state's trying to do this. 2 Democrats trying to put it through. I thought it was a really interesting article. But the conspiracy theory comes into this, which actually has a lot of validity to it. I was on the subcommittee for the master plan for trails, pedestrian stuff, and to try to get better language in the master plan there so we can drive in a direction in the next few years of building better walkability. There's more scooters on the street, stuff like that. Try to build that up. So I didn't really get into the ADU discussion, and from what I remember, there was a vote on it, to say, hey, should we allow ADU language in the master plan? And it was taken out. Somebody was driving people to press on the subcommittee to not have the language go in there. And apparently, the Republican Post a couple weeks ago, and they changed it and added this information, said that was Gene Kingsley was driving some people to get it out. Now, what does that do? The master plan comes before the public and then goes before the town council committee so that they can discuss it in public and review it. So this was a backdoor deal. She influenced the subcommittee to get it out so that the public wouldn't even get a chance to have a discussion on it, or the town council didn't get to have a discussion on it. So that's not even conspiracy. They put it on the Facebook page, and I didn't even know that's what happened until the Facebook page was put up there a couple weeks ago. And the subcommittee was, when did we get the master plan in? 2 years ago? So that was a nice little tip of information 2 years later. Consequently, I have some things to write about it. So that's it. ADUs are good to discuss on whether that you think it's bad idea or good idea. I think it's a really interesting topic. My goal would be to write a law that's very strict, but to allow the landowner to do what they want with their property. But you have to be strict about it.
Laura, do you have a question or something?
I did. John, can you, what constitutes an ADU for people that might not know, and where, as a homeowner, would you potentially run into problems with the township, right? So you have children, you're looking for space, you want to redo your basement. I guess what constitutes like a basement reno as opposed to an ADU?
That's right. If you have a suite in the basement that you want your mother-in-law to live in, you still have to comply. You would still have to comply by zoning laws, setback rules. You'd have to have the second egress out of there. There's no proper language wouldn't allow any relief on any of those things. So you'd have to have all the legal aspects of it. But you could do it above the garage. You could do a second unit on the property, but you can't add a second big unit on the property if you have a small lot. So that answer your question? Sort
of. Like what components make up an ADU as opposed to just I'm renoing, right? Like, okay. Is there some sort of electrical? Is there, I assume, a bathroom?
Good question.
Okay.
So this is what contractors told me is happening now. And I'm trying to remember if Robin, the construction official, was telling me this story when I was in the office trying to do my own second story addition. What the practice is that if a builder saw a house with a detached garage, for instance, and there was a of it, they couldn't make it its own unit. So what they would do, it would have its own electrical panel, its own kitchenette, and a bathroom and a bedroom. So it'd be like a loft. But what they would do is they would leave out a sink or a stove or something like that, so that when the inspector come in and say you can't have this as an additional dwelling unit, it's illegal. And they say, well, no, because it's an incomplete kitchen. And then in the past, they've gotten signed off for that. And then later they could go put the stove or the sink in. So they omitted things in there to make it incomplete. So that's an illegal activity going on right now too, which a new ordinance would actually help regulate and make everything on the up and up.
Is this really where people should be focusing their time and energy though? Like, I feel like there's far greater things people should have concern with. Okay.
No, you're right. I mean, it should have been language that was in the master plan, and it wasn't binding. It was just like, hey, Berkeley Heights thinks we should look at ADUs as an option to offset affordable housing development, which is what the New Jersey law said. It's like, hey, if you have additional dwelling units, it suggests this. I don't know if they're going to write this, but it suggests you can go to the state court and say, hey, we have additional dwelling units and this much affordable housing. Maybe we don't need 400 units of affordable housing. Maybe we only need 350. It's a thought, but yeah, great question.
Sean, you got anything you want to add to this?
Not on this one.
I mean, there's two things I feel like came for me. I mean, I think the first is like, I mean, not that you guys should think it's important. I actually think I didn't even know about this. Like, I mean, I know mother-daughters. I just didn't know about, like, I know mother-daughters existed. I didn't even know it was like a sort of laws against it, and I didn't know anything about that. And I'm still largely ignorant about the issue. But I think what frustrates me about it is, like, I think it is, and again, I tend to kind of break right on some things and left on others. And I do think it's a land rights issue. I mean, I feel like corporations get away with fucking anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the screws keep tightening. So So you have people making lower wages, robots taking over fucking jobs. Rents are, no, I'm being serious. Rents are sky high. And I'm working with like 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds that can't afford to fucking live, that have to make these tough decisions about moving away from their fucking families. And here you have this solution that I feel like makes sense. And who the fuck is the government? Like, why don't you start going after the people with some cash instead of families trying to figure out a way to live together? That really pisses me off. Wait, so let me kind of put something for that, because I feel like that was a good speech. So let me
Are
just
you getting
kinda,
like a photo or something
oh
inappropriate?
man, I'm just really like,
Oh, I got this thing.
No!
America, fuck yeah. All right.
God, what's happening?
That's exactly what I felt when I wrote the article.
All right, so that's what I felt like when I was talking. I'm actually, people are gonna be surprised by that, because actually I'm so like not, I like the eagle. I'm not a big flag person. So the second piece I feel is, going back to sort of, I hate that we're using, and I don't mean this in like a moralistic way, or that there shouldn't be parties, but that the fact that parties exist in this town, because they really don't stand for what we think they stand for. Like, the Republicans in this town don't have a coherent political philosophy. The political philosophy to the Republicans in this town is get the people we like elected and make sure that the town runs exactly the way we want it to. They look at themselves as like a fucking housing association. They're not and I'm being completely serious. Like the same thing with the schools. It's not about facts and it's not about positions. You can't debate. You can't criticize. Their fucking biggest debate is what the trash can should fucking look like. I mean, there isn't any. Huh?
Family program. Can you watch your mouth?
Oh my God. So I'm not going to tell you about that. We had a big argument. My kids were going after me today.
Good.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. Here.
Anyway, so they're not anchored to a philosophy. They're not anchored to facts. What they're anchored to is a vision of what they want, and they twist everything to sort of somehow come out that way. And what you'll
Do
notice
they even have a vision? I mean, let's be honest. They all like the power.
That's what it is. The
Which is
vision is the
undeniable.
social club, and this is where Penna and Kingsley and all and like, does anybody really believe that Penna has any idea what she's doing? I actually do think Kingsley does. I do think that Kingsley has a clue. I think she's very sort of deliberate in it, and she knows how to maneuver it. But
I mean, we just saw Tom just put up the graphic of $48 million is where we stand right now with the municipal building.
I have to ask him about that, because I think it's below 40, like high 39s, but it's still above the original number. I got to check him on that. It's not 48 though.
It's not 48.
I don't think so. It's above the original 28 price tag though, so he's right.
As somebody who was a registered Republican for a few years, where is the fiscal responsibility? I mean, that's supposed to be a very Republican tenet, and I don't see
never
it.
been.
But for those of us who kind of believe in the platform and then become disillusioned and go with unaffiliated, that is supposed to, smaller government, fiscal responsibility is supposed to be one of the key parts of the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And it's glaringly missing from a lot of the Republicans in this town.
I mean, I think that's national party. I mean, like the military. Do we like? I don't know. Republicans are not. I mean, in my opinion, Republicans have never been about small government since Eisenhower was the last small government Republican. The rest of those motherfuckers, it's a different version of what they consider welfare.
My children are going to be watching this for information later.
They're okay with
Lacey can handle it
as long as they send them somewhere to get killed for their oil. I'm sorry. That's
it's going to be lithium ion soon.
Whatever.
That's going to determine the future wars, not oil. So we're going to just shift the cup over here.
All right. So that's my little speech. That there's no coherency, and actually, I don't consider myself a Democrat either. I can't stand them either. But when I think about the local Democrats, for the most part, I mean, you have that fringe that exists, They tend to be a very
yeah.
pragmatic group. I mean, they kind of are, when they talk about running purple, it's sort of like, it's not like I'm a Democrat and I support Democrats. They tend to be the most pragmatic group out of the power houses in town.
Until you get to that. Yeah, Laura's making a face too. No, because there is that fringe element, and they're nuts.
Yeah, but they're not the ones holding the seats. Well, I mean,
they're buying them quickly.
Yeah, they're finding them. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I just
Everyone
think you have the
besides
wrong
the four
people
of
always
us are
coming from the
crazy.
top in power. Yeah.
I think the thing is with the municipal building, that was kind of an earmark of like bigger government. We didn't want to see that in this town, to have a massive department full of government officials. The building it was blighted. It's just that was where we are with the BOE today, where it's like, hey, we have a question, and then you hear the answer, and you're like, well, that's bullshit. I know you're trying to tell me I'm not as smart as you are. That's what the whole municipal building thing was back then. We were like, why do we need this big of a building? Well, we're pulling the library, the police department. This is a Mercedes-Benz of a municipal building. That's not.
It's not a Mercedes. It's like what's
Bentley?
a really expensive, ugly car? What was that fucking car that was really expensive but ugly? It was a Pontiac something.
The Tesla?
No, Tesla's ugly too. Yeah. I'm gonna piss off half the town because everybody fucking drives it as a status symbol. He made fun of Teslas. I'm leaving the group.
I'm just trying to see if the robot's driving or not whenever I'm behind it.
Yeah, so I don't know who I'm going to vote for in town council, man. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. Like, I love Tom on some issues. Steve seems okay. Margaret, I like her on some issues, man. But man, there's some other things that historically I have a problem with. I like that guy Bill. He seems like a nice guy. I like him. He has like a heart. He has a good heart. So I got to look at that shit.
Like, have you seen his heart? Is that a feeling, or is it
man. He
based on
protects the walls and shit. I mean, he can't be a bad guy. What's wrong with? I don't know.
He does want soundless fireworks.
Oh no!
What? All right,
No.
these are
If you love animals, but fireworks.
Oh man, I went on a
okay.
whole fucking tirade about that this week. All right, fine, whatever. I'm not going to get into this right now. All right, let's go to the BOE, and I think the big thing was sort of the report, right? So let's just kind of.
There is no report.
Right. So me and Natasha were kind of sort of like. We were kind of dovetailed into this. I didn't know. It was like one hand didn't really know what the other was doing. Yeah, believe it or not, guys, we're not all like talking. Not all of us are like. Well, we talk, but so Pam Stanley kind of denies this proficiency report. Our rankings have declined. The BOE refused to force Dr. Volley to talk about it. Tom and Dipty were the only two. Then they threw into the subcommittee the public had no access to, where this report was presented that was supposed to kind of explain how we're doing. And the bizarre thing about this report and the narrative around this, well, the first is that Pam, almost like in this way, kind of ridiculed parents for saying there was a report. Like, we're not trying to hide anything, ha ha ha. And then literally 2 days later, this shit comes in my mailbox, and it's literally a report. Right, but the way I had to ask for it, I had to open it like once or twice. I basically had to send every single thing that was given out in that meeting. That's how I asked for it. That finally painted them in a corner and they had to give it to me. So when you look at that report, it only uses internal data, doesn't speak to the state issue, doesn't compare to any other school in the district, and it doesn't even show you the prior year. It only shows you what we're doing this year. So it is the most fucked up whitewash of what's going on. And this is what I mean, that there's no coherency. Like, serious people at the BOE would look at this and say, hey, we have a problem. Can we talk about this honestly with the public? These motherfuckers are like, how do we pretend we don't have a report? What are you throwing your hands up for, man?
Stop cursing.
Sorry.
He's angry. This was a point in which I was pretty frustrated. The fact that she said one thing and it was a complete lie. Essentially, it's what happened.
And I can't see it being a mistake. Like, it's a report. Like, you see it. It has every single. Look up the definition of the World Report. She's the chair of that committee. She was in that meeting. There is no way that wasn't known. I don't know how else to understand it other than they were trying to hide it. Like, I can't think my way through how this would have happened without it being something that they just tried to cover up. And she calls out Natasha in the meeting. Like, she just calls out a parent and makes fun of her almost in her tone. about asking for it. And so what they're doing is trying to ridicule and intimidate people into not asking for shit that actually exists.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
was
fucking evil, man.
online told that we could not discuss running for BOE and what we thought about who should be running and a change in the BOE because there's a time and a place and there are boundaries.
Oh, right.
So we can't
Pam,
discuss that.
There
are
was
boundaries.
against the social media thing when Cy was informing the public about the budget is now all over. Now she's talking to parents right before election time. And I know that Angela, Joy, and Robert all agreed that Pam would be the mouthpiece, which I don't think that's a good call. They're gonna probably change their strategy soon.
I think it'd be great.
That didn't go out. That didn't go well. But now she can talk, and they know it. They know in their minds. They know that they have this sort of social pull that they could do shit like this. They could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let me tell you, the only reason they want to stay in power right now is so they don't have to pay for the attorneys that are now defending them. Because if a new BOE comes in, they are not going to approve those legal bills. So they're not fighting for anything but to keep their attorneys. Right now, I'm 100% sure of it.
So hold on, if a new BOE comes on board and they have to vote, so they have to raise the question, do we continue to legally support?
They have to approve legal bills periodically. And I'm not even sure that, I'm not going to go into that right now, but yes. And so if a new BOE comes in, that all falls apart. And the other thing that falls apart is now you have people that are going to go in and actually look at what's been going on. This election is very fear-based. They don't want, in my opinion, they don't want to win to help the schools. That's been clear. 3 years it's been down. Yeah. They want to run because they have to somehow manically cover this shit up. Because I suspect only 50% of this shit is what we know.
So it's kind of a financial incentive here then too. They don't want the cost thrown on them. So right.
Yeah, the question I have is, that's going to be a whole other. There's a whole other thing that I'm going to talk to about this, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Sorry. Any thoughts on the BOE shit, guys?
I think that encompassed all of it.
No, although I did have a really kind of enlightening and interesting conversation with some gentleman I met at the pool yesterday. And he kind of was like, hey, I'm just trying to get involved. My kid's starting kindergarten. I feel like I need to be a part of the BOE. And I kind of laughed and was like, who told you to talk to me? It's going to take a long time. But one of the first things this person said was, so I'm trying to kind of follow online. And what I'm getting at is that we have a really great superintendent, but the Board of Ed is the problem because they keep blocking things she wants to do. And I just laughed and I said, well, it's a bit of a theater, how long do you have to discuss the issues? So, but to that point,
that was actual belief that we have this incredible
that was an actual belief. And there was this person had things that they cited remember when she wanted to do this, but the board voted no. And I said, well, this is this is politics 101. There's things that are happening behind closed doors. And what you're seeing is the theater. So what they were trying to do, which is make you believe that we have this really great, wonderful, courageous leader who is, doing all these things for the kids is not. This is all politics. But to my point, I then talked to this person about how important it is to vote for the right people. And that time is coming now. And that we have so much more work to do with putting out facts so that people can make their own opinions, which I think is important. But it was, we had a 3-hour conversation. So this person is completely turned around. So we're good. But, to a new person who's just sort of dabbling, this is the perception. We have this great superintendent, but the Board of Ed's crazy, kind of.
Weird.
Yeah.
That is really weird.
So this brings up to mind something. Let me kind of see if I can pull it up. So I got an email from a community member, and they were kind of looking at this, and I follow world languages. Natasha, I think, is very much about following world languages. Virginia is very much on top of that. But I got this email from a community member that kind of said, hey, man, did you look at this? Because it looks like Columbia Middle School, the way they're parsing it out, the kids are only getting really half a year. So we kind of did you guys look into that at all or see, did you guys delve into that at all or notice any of that? I have to go looking into that a little bit because she compared what a couple of other schools were doing and how many days they had of languages and what we were doing. And it comes out that they're only, based on what they're saying, only half a year. So I don't know if that's true. I have to look at that a little bit, but I think
you're probably right. So I'm not
I don't
good
know
at
if
math
I am. I don't
at
know
all.
to know if I am.
So I'll tell you in 6th grade and I believe in 7th, you have your world language once or twice in your 6-day rotation. So it's not something that you're getting every day. And then, with Italian and probably French, who are kind of like on the wayside, my kid was in a co-seated class last year. So I wouldn't even
Oh,
say
the
she was getting
Italian
that.
sardine can?
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah.
I don't even think my kids were getting an actual day of language because it was like one day in a 6-day cycle, but really a half day, kind of a half a block or whatever. It probably works out to about a half year.
Yeah.
Well, and then, touching on the languages, just to reiterate what was in the article that I put out, because it's been a little while. Italian 4, regular.
Oh, that's right.
Italian 4 is no longer, it does not exist. They're rolling AP Italian and Honors Italian into one class with something like 28 kids. They're offering that to the kids who were taking regular Italian 4, but now they're going to be in a class, a very crowded class with AP and Honors kids and without like the secondary teacher. So if any of them did have an IEP or something else, there is no support in that class because it's an AP and Honors, even if there had been support previously.
So wait a minute. You're saying that
So
they're
the reason that they're not running the regular class because there aren't enough kids.
So you're saying that they're taking
So they'll
only
run-
one class of Italian in Berkeley Heights?
So for Italian 4, you've got Honors
Wait a
Italian
minute, Shauna.
4
That's not
or
right. We gotta bring this in. It's not okay. Okay. All right.
That's silly.
I like it.
It's got another minute to play, so I'm going to keep interrupting your speech.
One more time.
Eagle. You want to see the eagle one more time?
No.
With another good story. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got to do it with another good story. Yeah. All right. Last, anything else on the radar before I kind of go on off topic?
Oh, great.
So, this is one of the fucking problems with this town. Okay. You guys ever
Your
know the
mouth,
difference
that's the problem
between
with this town.
custard? What do you want me to? Do you know the difference between custard and ice cream?
Yes.
Right. Custard has a little egg in it. It's very creamy, right?
Yes.
All right. So my thing is this: like, if you're going to have custard, you should have like a vanilla orange twist available.
So cute.
Laura, are we distracting you? or
Yeah,
bothering
sorry.
you?
Somebody just brought over
Your
cookies.
story is
I was just
distracting him, by
looking
the
at the
way.
goods.
I mean, I guess we're not interesting enough.
You're not.
Exactly the problem.
All right. If you're gonna have custard, go.
Like the orange vanilla twist, right?
Oh, yeah.
Rita's, what's the
Oh,
ice? Is it
creamsicle.
Rita's or Zita's? The ice is Rita's.
Rita's has custard,
But no orange vanilla.
right?
And
Unfortunately.
Zita's has orange vanilla, but only in hard ice cream.
And it's not technically not custard. It's like traditional
Right,
ice cream.
It's ice cream.
Yeah, I know.
Like this- I don't know what to do.
You have to go to the boardwalk.
I know Coors. I actually sent them an email asking them like the ice cream Coors, KOHRS.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they responded.
I sent them
I
an
have
email
an
asking them to kind of
important
find a
question
spot here. Huh?
Is the Zita's sorbet and ice cream combined,
Sometimes you could get the custard.
or is
on
it
its own.
like an orange flavored ice cream?
No, so
Or is it
like the
sorbet?
Zita's or the Rita's?
Zita's.
Zita's is a hard ice
sorbet.
cream, like orange vanilla mixed already in. What I'm asking
But is
for
the
is
orange
soft,
part sorbet or is it ice cream?
it's ice cream, I think. But I don't give a shit about that. What I'm asking for is the orange vanilla twist.
You want a soft serve twist.
Yes.
Okay.
With sprinkles.
Okay, so let's put it out there. Email bhcommunitywatch1@gmail.com if you have a location within 25 miles of Berkeley
that's a
Heights,
good
New
idea.
Jersey that serves
Orange
And
vanilla
oh,
twist.
there's gotta
custard,
be.
Custard.
a creamsicle custard.
Custard.
Okay.
Not a creamsicle, a twist. A cone with the ice cream. A creamsicle is the thing on the stick.
No, okay. You're saying orange and vanilla. That's creamsicle. That is
there's a twist.
no.
Like you have a chocolate vanilla twist. There's an
That's
orange
just
vanilla
a twist. That's John Paul. Put your
What?
hands down.
What?
Vanilla and chocolate is just called twist. You can get it soft serve. They have it at Magic Fountain in Summit. It's amazing. Creamsicle is vanilla and orange in that same twisted shape, but it comes out of the soft serve machine.
Okay. So I didn't know that that's what it was called. I thought the creamsicle
Okay,
was
well-
the pops.
No, you've been schooled. You're welcome.
Wow.
Well, creamsicles are also the pops, though.
Shauna?
The box
I mean,
says
it says
creamsicle.
creamsicles.
The
It
box
does.
says
It does.
creamsicle. It does.
I think it's more of a flavor, but I know what you want. Just go to the beach. Let's take a road trip, like
They
a
have it in-
BHCW road trip
Are we?
retreat.
So are we on the culinary arts right now?
Yes.
You
Did you
pickled
make
your own
those?
pickles?
No, we're at my friend's house. I did the labeling of the jars and cleaned up some of the garbage. It was my first time. But yeah, Reddington, New Jersey. They're gonna be pickled.
Hey, listen, do you
What
guys
kind of pickles?
Still,
Mm.
Do you have more than one jar?
they had 100.
Mm.
I have
You
2.
guys make your own sauce, like where I was in my town where I used to live. All the Italians would get together and make their own sauce. Do you guys do that?
Sauce.
Can I come?
Yeah.
When do you do that?
I haven't done it in a while because it's hot.
From
What do you
Like,
consider?
you
Wait,
get
wait, wait,
together
wait.
and make the sauce. What?
What do you consider make your own sauce?
Yeah, what do
They
you
get the
consider?
tomatoes. Like they
using-
actually get tomatoes.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
No.
I mean,
No,
I get
I'm
canned
willing
tomatoes
to learn.
and
Yeah.
I squeeze them.
No, I'm talking. These guys. There's like things of tomatoes, and then it's like a whole day, man.
No, I'm not that Italian.
No, I make my own sauce, but not like from fresh tomatoes. I use
Alright.
the canned tomatoes.
Are you
I
willing to
wanna
do
Tony,
this
you
for us?
may be producing that many tomatoes that we could like get a tent and do this.
Can we do
The
it?
very first ones are finally starting to turn
Well,
red.
we need to
Finally-
find somebody who knows what they're doing because I don't think any of you guys know what you're doing.
True. Thanks.
I know how
Let's
to
have a
can. I
cook-off.
grew up in
I can
Utah.
cook.
Right, but you know how to take it from a tomato, like a real tomato, to like sauce.
I can figure it
could,
out. I can
yeah.
guarantee you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping for somebody who knew it already.
Not in this group? Oh, well, those two maybe, not me.
No,
No, I totally could.
as could I with Shauna.
Are you Italian, Shauna?
No,
No, I want some.
I'm Mormon and I grew up in Utah and we can everything.
Yeah. So what am I supposed to like trust that you're going to make a good Italian
Okay,
sauce?
fine. My ex-husband was Italian and I have Grandma Champy's recipe for
Does that
sauce.
count?
There we go.
Yes.
Does that
There you go. Yeah, you could be Italian by association or marriage or divorce.
Even if you're a Mormon from Utah?
Grandma
Yes.
Champy.
Careful,
Now,
we're
Grandma
not-
Champy's
guys.
mom came here when she was 16 from Italy,
All right.
and it's her recipe.
We're-
So
Okay.
Don't say you can be Italian
Okay.
by association or marriage. We're trying to expand our
Does the
fan base
garlic
here.
get sliced or minced?
it is. Well,
Either?
no,
you
it's
trying to do?
minced, not sliced. No.
It depends on what you're trying to make.
We're like a slice. We're a slice
We're not
family.
going to. Our dream
There
of
you go.
bringing a chef on
we're-
as a
we're
guest is
minced.
over.
All right. The key
I have a
question:
chef. I have
do
an
you
in-town
put
chef.
Sugar.
No,
In,
Ah.
Sugar for
balsamic
what?
vinegar,
in the sauce?
tomato sauce.
Yes. To
I
cut
think you
the
have to add a
acidity.
little
We need
sugar.
to find somebody who knows what they're doing because you guys don't know. Like you're asking.
I'll make some
We're
banana.
I'm
just sharing
asking Laura if
recipes.
she
There's
does it
no-
right.
There's
That's
no
what
one
I'm
size
asking her if
fits
she
all.
does it right by putting sugar in it.
Are we having a community watch bake-off?
Yes.
Yes.
Shauna,
Okay.
I do a little bit of sugar or balsamic vinegar because then that cooks down and it's really sweet.
I'm getting hungry.
All right. Well, we'll continue this discussion.
I'm
I
eating a
really have a lot of
pickle.
confidence right now.
This is not good. We're only 37 minutes in. What else are we going to talk about?
I don't think there's anything else to talk about.
I'm exhausted.
Do we
You
know
guys
who's
wanna
running
hear-
for Board of Ed?
Oh,
Oh well, yeah.
I know
well,
some.
no, well,
Are we
let's-
allowed to say or no?
do they want us to?
I mean, I don't think it's
Well, it's going to be
I
public
think we
in
should
2
give
days.
candidates I think we should give candidates the courtesy.
Drum roll,
Yeah,
please.
I think so. My belief is I think Sai is going to run. That's my belief. I think Joy and Robert are going to run. I hope Natasha runs. But those are my only. And I know that Joy and Robert, probably from what we heard, I don't know. But
I'm
all
excited.
information when it comes to the election is always 50-50. Like school, I have a lot more confidence in with what we get from the schools than what we hear from the election. So I give this like a huge grain of salt, but that they're gonna get like ballot position runners to run alongside not side, but Joy and Robert. And to be honest with you, I think that's just gonna, that's politics. No matter what happens, that lady from Union County is just gonna put whoever we're supporting in the back of the ballot in like fine print.
I don't know how that could be possible. I have questions.
Did you see the ballot last year?
I know.
I did.
I know.
Who's in charge
Random.
of that, by the way? I
It's
know
random.
who's in charge of that. Well, we're not going to say her
Random,
name, but I
random.
know.
Rispoli. Was it
Huh?
Rispoli? What's her last name?
Yeah, but who's on the board of elections? No, don't.
You
Right.
know, we
Oh,
all
I
know who's
know.
on the board of
Yep, I know.
elections.
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
Do
Oh,
you see a theme here?
It's so fucking ridiculous in this town, man.
oh.
Yeah.
There was some scuttlebutt about that she was.
Yep.
Let me go do some research on that.
Yes, please. All right. Anyway, I think this is good. Look, I'm good with you guys doing the Italian. I don't mean to be mean, but I want it to be an authentic thing.
Oh,
I want it to be like somebody like from Italy kind of showing me how to do
Okay.
this.
I thought we were breaking
All
up.
right.
All right.
The three of us will make sauce. We're going to put it in the same container, deliver it to your house with a code or label, and you're going to tell us who you like best.
That's the thing. I want to know how to do it, and I want to learn from somebody who's like, I don't know, who's maybe like lived there or like they,
Old
I don't know.
Berkeley
I think
Heights.
shit gets changed when you move
Just
from one
go
place
knock
to
on
another.
any door north of
Yeah.
Springfield Ave, and you'll probably find your answer.
Are you
I
going to use the
guarantee
special
you it'll be
tomatoes?
good.
What are they? What are they called?
Look, follow
San Marzano?
the Feast of Mount Carmel route the morning of the festival, and you'll find Grandma, 19 of them, that will show you the pastas thing. Done.
Yeah.
Look, you want a fan base? They need to be on these videos, and we're gonna tell them we love their sauce.
We could do a live stream.
Oh,
I just
July
want to be
16th,
part of knowing
2024.
how to do it. That's all. I don't really.
I'm in.
I don't know who's going to invite you into their house, to be
Why?
honest with you. Oh, really?
Because you curse.
You curse like a trucker. And I
I'm
love
not cursing
truckers.
for my kids
And the
shit.
Italian moms don't. The Italian grandmas don't.
I mean, they want to feed everyone.
Hold
so
on.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I think this is it, right? I think we're good.
this is over.
It's pretty poor
So
quality.
should I play the eagle again though? Just one more time.
Yes,
Get the
let's
end
close
of it.
out with the eagle.
Close out the
Close
eagle. Good night, sir.
Yes.
I know what Rick's came into like. I guess maybe Indiana Jones. Whoa, that's a new thing. I didn't see that.
I never heard you learn before.
No, we gotta sit this whole. Dude, you wanted this? We're sitting it all the way, every second.
Roll credits. Roll credits.
Fucks. The TV guy. Wait, we only have a few seconds left. Let's see it. It's got 15 seconds left of it.
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
Christ.
that's weird. What the fuck is that? All right.
See you there for the next episode.
Anyway. All right. I'll see you guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Peace out.
Peace out.